Hello, CCL Sports Cards fans. I'm Christopher Davies, and welcome back. First off, I want to say thank you to all of you who choose to watch my show, especially those who choose to subscribe. We have now hit 250 subscribers, and I couldn't be more grateful. To see this kind of response in 3.5 months, and moreover, some of the friendships that have been created as a result of me sharing my experiences in the hobby, it's just been incredible. So thank you very much. With that said, I felt it would be fun to take a look at some of the wins we've had at CCL Sports Cards. You know, in so many episodes, I share and talk of prospects I like or trot out my recent purchases from eBay or direct from other collectors, basically to give you viewers ideas. Now, I have said this before, but it's worth reiterating. Speculating on prospects as it relates to sports cards makes it fun, but it is also something that will lead to losses. You won't get them all right, and I think if you can accept that, it just makes for a more pleasant journey. And the hope is that your winners will pay for your losses, and then some. However, regular viewers of this show know that I also employ some less risky strategies when it comes to investing in sports cards. And as it relates to today's show, we are going to look at how some of those less speculative sports cards investments are doing, as well as a couple others that precede the launch of this show early last November. In fact, I think I'm going to start there, and those of you who are hockey fans will appreciate this one. Starting with Patrick Kane's 2007 SP Authentic Future Watch Auto and PSA 10. Now, every now and again, I get a little prospect happy, meaning I begin to load up too heavily on players who haven't really done all that much. And when I notice this pattern in my own behavior, I shift gears and look at which GOATs I can add to my portfolio. This was exactly the case with regards to the Patrick Kane card. When I purchased this card early last June for about $1,400, I bought it because Patrick Kane has been there and done that. His stats are ridiculous, being over a point per game player forever. He has 3 cups, tons of personal accolades, and is a surefire member of the Hockey Hall of Fame when the time comes. At last check, the population on this card is only 30. Just 30. Now, the last recorded sale of this card was October 27th, 2021 for $4,400. Not only that, but Card Ladder believes the card is worth as much as $8,446. That is quite literally a 500% premium over what I paid for it. A side note here, if you're not using an app like Card Ladder, which is about $14 a month, or Jeff Wilson's Sports Card Investor Pro app, to know what things cost when they sold and with price trends, with just a click of a button, I highly recommend those apps. But back to Patrick Kane. This card literally rocketed higher shortly after I purchased it. Was this the plan? No. But it just so happens that Kane's name was named the top American-born NHLer just weeks after my purchase. That part is just luck. However, even without that, I feel this card would have gotten there eventually anyhow. He is headed to the Hall. This card is an autograph, and it's very low pop. So ask yourself, how many of these cards are still floating around raw in PSA 10? Next up is Mookie Betz' 2014 Bowman Chrome Refractor Auto and BGS 9.5. The pop on this card is $154. Now, I purchased this card back in December for about $3,000, and I even showcased it in Sports Card Shopping Spree. Now, Mookie isn't a hard guy to invest in. His career WAR is already 50. He has 2 rings, and he's only 29. It is highly unlikely he won't be in Cooperstown when the time comes. What was a little hard was actually buying this card, and what I mean is, if you look at that chart, it was worth over $6,000 just last April, and it has slid ever since. In fact, when I bought this card, I kind of felt it was bound to fall even more in the short term. But it seems to have settled, and if it does fall more, I'll probably buy more. But today, as it stands, this card is worth 12% more than I paid for it, and I don't see it falling longer term. Mookie has accomplished just too much, and he still has 7+ good years left. Lastly, I'm going to talk about wax, because it is such a steady grower. At least it has been for some time. If you watch, I just invested $20,000 in wax just last month. This episode is probably still fresh in your mind. So, I purchased a case of 2020 Bowman Draft Jumbo for about $5,100 back in early November, and they are routinely selling for over $6,000 on blowout cards. And supply seems sparse. That's a $900 increase. I also picked up a case of 2020 Bowman, the Jumbo case. You know, J-Dom, Witt, Volpe, etc., these guys, and it cost me $6,400. And now the cost is $8,000. That's a 25% increase, or $1,600. And lastly, the 2021 Bowman Draft Jumbo case that I purchased. These were available to everyone at $3,100 in pre-sale, be it through Blowout Cards or Dave and Adam's Card World. This one is funny to me because once the checklist dropped, many people said the product is a total dud. I even did an episode to counter that. Now, this product is getting harder to find because so much of it has already been ripped, and the cost on Blowout Cards is now $5,100. That is $2,000 more than I spent, and nearly a 70% rise in just 2 months. Now, I wish I was smart enough to buy two, but I didn't. And as I preach to many who ask, trading down is a good strategy. In this case, if I had to, what that means is I'd sell one, and I'd let the other one just kind of ride forever. But with that said, I only had one, and I did choose to sell this particular case, because to me, that is a really silly rise. I mean, in just 2 months. Sure, it could go higher. I mean, 2018 Bowman Draft Jumbos run about $7,000. Do I care? Nah. For two reasons. One, I like to have lots of cash, and you gotta take some profits. I guess that's kind of two reasons. So number three would be I plan on picking up another case of 2021 Bowman, the Jumbo, with part of the proceeds from the aforementioned sale. It just seems like a great value given the checklist and the cost as well, and historically speaking, Bowman tends to outperform Bowman Draft over time. And at $3,700, which is the cost of a jumbo case of 21 Bowman as of February 16th, 2022, the potential downside is really quite acceptable. There are many other examples I could give in terms of steadier investments that I've made or have been made, but I'll kind of leave it there as I like to keep my episodes very short. I really hope you all had fun watching today and these last few months. And thank you one last time for the 250 subscribers. The next stop is 500, folks. Remember that anything that I say on this show is strictly my opinion and should be taken as such. You guys have an absolutely incredible week.